keep looking at movies.
Oh, I'm so
Just keep
obsessed.
talking.
This is what I want. I want this entire collection. Oh, George, can you diary leave it to me?
Sure. Why not?
Thank you.
Why not?
Because how many years have you got on me?
Well, we'll see.
15? Right. Dead on. Dead on, mate.
Right, let's get stuck in.
Oh my god! I am actually like. How many? How?
Would you stop? I'm gonna hit
No,
play.
but just before we like start, we're introducing. How long have I been going on at you about this?
Quite
Since
some
2019.
time.
I've been
Has it been
talking
that
about
long?
this. Yeah,
Wow.
I know. Here we go. First time watch for me, but I've been dying to see this.
Gosh.
Because I love women in action.
She does absolutely love women in action.
She does.
Molesworth Limited. It's a name I'd never heard of or anymore. Like, I think it was the first, maybe the
Molesworth.
first one. Sally Aw. Presented by Sally Aw. Supervised by Teresa Wu, who actually
So
is the director.
Okay, so is this like a primarily female done?
So Teresa Wu is a producer, writer, director who mainly just handled the Angel series. She did a couple
Okay.
of other movies. But yeah, it is quite... Yes, it is.
Seems to be a lot of
While
female.
Teresa Wu, it says supervised by, she was one of the main directors, and then she
Right.
has some backup there, especially from Tony Leung,
Okay.
who did the Gary Daniels movie Blood Moon. Did you ever see Blood Moon? And
No.
Super Fights, which was penned by Keith
But the
Telly.
name Tony Leung.
Tony Leung still, there's three Tony Leungs.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's
You've got
probably
Tony
why.
Leung Carfai from
Have you ever tried opium?
what the fuck? What? No.
Sorry, just this isn't an opium field, and I'm just like, have you
It's
ever tried
opening in
opium?
the Iron Triangle. We'll talk about Tony Leung later.
Sorry,
There's
apologies.
There's three Tony Leungs.
I didn't realise that's how they got opium. This is really fascinating.
This is it from the
It's an
from the
education.
poppies.
Wow.
So I got this movie on VHS way back
In 1986.
Actually, no, it would have been 1993, 94.
Okay.
So the movie had been out a wee while. It obviously reached here. Initially released as Angel,
Yeah.
known as Angels.
Beautiful shot.
Released here as
Iron.
Iron Angels,
Yeah.
which I prefer. I think there's a
I
strength
love that
behind.
title. There's a strength
Angels.
behind that title.
And also Fighting Madam in Germany
Of course,
and
yeah.
other places.
It's always very confusing. I always find that with lovely shots here,
They are
like
absolutely.
beautiful shots.
Yeah.
And blisteringly violent already, which I love.
Mhm.
I always find that it's always very hard to keep up with what's what with
Ooh,
Hong
shot in
Kong.
the forehead.
Oh, another one with Hong Kong films because
Yes, of the renaming.
they there's so much renaming going on that it's like, oh, I can't.
And especially when you
I
go-
don't know which one is which
Yeah.
is why I rely on you whenever I would message you. Sometimes I'd be like, is this film this or what's this one, or
Yes.
you know.
And it seems to actually be, when you go into Europe, even more so, like Germany has different titles for many movies.
Yes, of course.
But I've obviously grown up with the UK releases of the VHSs. Now, thankfully with my knowledge on it and the internet and what I've learnt, I'm now going with the original Hong Kong titles for a lot of
Yes.
things that I'm buying. But when I do find it in Germany or somewhere else with its obscure name, it's always fun. It's always exciting.
Yeah.
And I don't mind having multiple copies of anything. This is phenomenal.
This is a great opening. I mean,
like it's packed.
for it very much so. The great, yes, baby.
This is like Rambo
aye.
with with a few cherries on top.
Yeah, I mean it's such a. I mean,
Explosive
whenever you know what I'm like with my explosions, George. Whenever I see it happen, it just captivates me.
But this is like the ending to most movies.
I mean, yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say that. You took the words
Yeah.
right out of my mouth. I mean, this is how most movies would end, is
Yeah,
with a battle like
exactly.
this. Whereas this movie's opening with one of, I think, the best gun battles
Ooh.
I've seen since
Just
a
got
Rambo
shot
film.
in the ass there. Did you see?
Oh, this probably came. Did this come? Whoa, yes, baby.
That was a clever shot because they
Was it?
showed someone get in there.
Yeah, they did.
And then they killed him.
Yeah, very
or,
clever.
Or cut it very fast.
I mean, this is actually a gorgeous film,
Isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
already.
And we're only
We're
into a couple
two
of minutes.
minutes into it. Absolutely loving this already. So, bit of background on, like, I mean, women in kind of action films in Hong Kong and Asia.
Okay, so
Great music.
yeah, I mean, obviously,
How did
Angel.
How
See,
did
this is
kind
the
of
original
yeah?
Hong Kong cut. Well, there's always been a power of women in Hong Kong cinema.
Yeah.
You know, from the Golden Age through the Shaw Brothers, right up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, with like Cheng Pei Pei and people like that. Yeah.
And even way before that.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever they started doing the modern action, you really only had like Cara Howe from Shaw Brothers, who would kind of start to
Oh, I do like
change
Cara
it.
Howe,
Oh, she's
yeah,
phenomenal.
Great actress.
Oh, one of the greatest villains of all time, Huang Jingli from Drunken Master.
Of course, yeah.
And 1,000 other movies.
I was just gonna say, he's one of those faces that's just like
He is phenomenal, and he has liked a few posts on my Instagram. Believe it or not,
really, that's incredible.
And there's Yukari Oshima. Oh,
I mean, goddess.
see, this is where I
Absolute
fall
goddess.
into a trap. I put a thing out on my Instagram channel recently about who's your favourite. Moon Lee, Yukari Oshima, Cynthia Khan, or Michelle Yeoh. And everyone seemed to come back, not everyone, quite a number of them came back with Michelle.
Did I take part in this?
Possibly.
I think I said Moon.
Moon. That's,
Yeah.
for me, Moon Lee is the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yukari is right under there. She's practically in Moon's pocket. But Moon Lee,
I think they're both straddling side by side.
they are, it's a very tough question.
Yeah.
And Michelle Yeoh, yes, I absolutely love and adore. But
She
she
has a much
seems to
more
get
universal appeal.
Yes, she's very mainstream.
Yeah.
And her movies have always been a much more polished production.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you get into the
Certainly.
nitty-gritty of stunt work and action, so many people praise Michelle for her stunt work. I agree, totally. But when you see these girls and what they do and what they get up to, like this film alone will totally change your mind on
Yeah.
how you perceive Hong Kong action.
Just on the subject of Yukari Oshima, obviously she's Japanese.
Yes.
She could speak Cantonese then, but did she know Cantonese, or did they dub her quite primarily because she was a Japanese speaker?
I kind of want to say I think one parent was Chinese.
Right, okay.
I'm not too sure if I'm 100% in that. I think I'm thinking.
I'm sure
along
some
those
of
lines.
our Hong Kong friends will
Yes,
keep
but
us informed.
she started. I think her first Hong Kong role was with Shanghai Express, Millionaires Express with Sammo Hung, where
Oh
she
yes,
played
of course.
the
that's
samurai.
right, yeah. I
where-
love that movie.
I hear I have to stop because this is another brutal action scene.
Fantastic. What's
This is the murder of some policemen.
okay? Great. Awesome. Look at this
from
here.
Yukari and her team that are sending assassins out to. It just.
Whoa! Yes.
So again, the action here is
There-
handled by Tony Leung.
Yeah, okay.
Tony Leung Su Hung, who starred in many Shaw Brothers films himself. He starred in 36 Crazy Fists, which was some of the fights in that were directed by Jackie Chan.
Right. Okay.
But he's become quite.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, it is gorgeous,
Of them
isn't
on
it?
the motorbikes there. Yeah.
He's been quite a successful action director and director. Oh,
This is some scene. My
Jesus.
goodness. Sorry, you were saying
yeah.
about
So
the
Anthony Long,
choreography.
he is, and he's worked on the Ip Man movies. He helped with Drunken Master 2, but he's one of those kind of directors that just kind of gets missed by whenever the A-listers come in from the Hong Kong action scene.
Yes. Been there.
But he does such an amazing job.
Yeah.
You know, this is a prime example of it.
What's so great, sorry, I'll probably go out of shot there for a second as I adjust myself. What's so great is that it's the kineticism, you know, that kind of hyper kinetic action that Hong Kong produce. We've often said this, you've often said this with American action films, it's very staccato
Yes.
because they're cutting and they have to be
Yeah.
very kind of, obviously, if they want to use their actors
This is
You
brutal.
know, it's incredibly violent. But if they want to use their actors, obviously they've got to make sure that they're cutting at the right times
Yes.
and things like
Yeah.
that. This here, people are throwing themselves on cars, spinning around on motorbikes. I mean, it's just so, there's such a ferocity to it, which
Oh, yeah.
makes it so gritty and real. And
There is.
look at this here. This is unbelievable.
She is an amazing villain in this.
So she's the villain in
She's
this
the
movie.
villain. She is the biggest badass. Yeah.
Wow.
Even Huang is afraid of her.
Shiminy cricket. That's one way to lose your fingers.
Yep. But Yukari is she's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
Very underrated actress.
Mm-hmm.
But my God, what a fighter. What a mover.
Oh.
And what you have here is a Hong Kong action movie with a Japanese villain and a South Korean villain.
Yeah, okay.
So it's quite a multicultural cultured mix of action stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
She has a real fluidity about her movements.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt. She trained in martial arts, I believe, at the Sunny Shiva Action School, you know, from Street Fighter and all that. So that's where she learnt. And then starred in a few Japanese action shows there, kind of Power Rangers type stuff.
That's right. I seen that.
And then
Bioman or something, wasn't it? Or,
I think it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Came to Hong Kong to star in action movies and exploded. Unfortunately, towards the end of the career, fell in with Philip Ko, who I absolutely adore, but for some reason decided he was just going to go to the Philippines and shoot movies for $10 and make some incredibly bad stuff with her. Maybe they had a fling. I don't know. There was a quite a few of her directors and co-stars she had relationships with. So perhaps she was just maybe in a relationship with Philip Ko. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he had her as a lead for many movies, and they turned out to be a lot of her worst ones.
Yeah, because she does have a lot more titles than Moon does.
Yes, she does. Moon retired.
Yeah, but Yukari seemed to continue on, so that's
and
maybe why.
Then she came back to star. She'd done a few movies with Frankie Chan, who again I absolutely adore, like Outlaw Brothers, Burning Ambition,
okay,
things like that. But she then came back to star in Legendary Amazons, which was
yes,
the remake of 14 Amazons, the Shaw Brothers classic. And Frankie was behind that. And Jackie produced it, actually. Jackie Chan produced that. So she came back for that. But I think she's back into retirement, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a shame. I mean, the Girls with Gun movement, the Hong Kong femme fatale, kind of exploded so much around its heyday.
Too much, do you think? Maybe it could have been its downfall?
Well, not really, because you know, then you could say
It's
the
only
same
experienced.
for male action stars.
Well, I was going to say, and I suppose maybe it's only experienced a downfall because not enough people set out to watch it, and we are so used to men dominating action, and that's why for so long I was asking you about sitting down together and watching this movie, because I have seen female-led action films, but they've been American films, and as entertaining as they are, and as much as I like to see women kind of taking charge and control, your whole kind of ethos and your passion for Asian cinema is like, if George is saying that Yukari Oshima, Cynthia Khan, Moon Lee, Michelle Yeoh are that good, then they've got to be that good. These movies have got to be good.
Yes, Hollywood action movies, especially with women, and even probably more so with the men, they bore me. Because even movies like this, I mean, I have movies there from the 70s that are more exciting and more action-packed and more intense than half of what Hollywood is delivering now.
Yeah.
With their so-called action stars, you know. But when you see what they it's what they go through. It's the pain in these actors and actresses from Hong Kong. They are phenomenal. They are just, there's something else. And this is a breed of stars that are gone. There's just that even in Hong Kong, these people just aren't there anymore. They're
It would
just
be
not.
really lovely to see them. I've often spoken to you about, I've pitched a lot of ideas to you about female-led Asian action films. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I would love, and the reason, and I told you this, the reason that I pitched those ideas to you is because obviously you're a filmmaker, you're very, very passionate about this genre. I'm passionate about the action genre. I'm falling more and more in love with Hong Kong cinema. But what I would love to see is a modern Mindley.
Yeah.
You know, someone really dominating Asian theatres
Yeah.
as a female action star.
Uh-huh.
Get that back.
And we've yet to see it.
We've yet to see it. That's why, can we make it happen?
I mean, it would be a hell of a search to find such an actress.
It would be.
But a
It would be
fun
worth
search.
the search, I think, to find someone to fill the shoes of these women who paved the way for action movies all over the world.
They have a lot to live up to.
They do have a lot to live up to.
Yeah, I mean,
And there are some good, like Gigi Annan. Is that?
Gigi, yeah, from Chocolate. And,
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Fantastic.
I mean that.
But not getting enough work.
Not enough, and
No.
that just seemed to go on a rise, and then it was just like she was put into co-starring
wasn't
roles
she?
and cameo roles and underused completely. David Chang, who's one of Shaw Brothers' biggest ever stars, also known as John Chang, equally as much as David Chang. He is also brother to Derek Yee, director Derek Yee,
yes,
who does
yeah,
Swords Master and Shinjuku Incident, things like that. Who was a star in his own right back in Shaw Brothers. Look at that. I mean, Kenny and I were there just not that long ago.
I know. I'm sure you sir.
Oh.
So a rundown of this. Is this kind of like a Charlie's Angels kind of thing? There's
Yes.
an angel organization
Yes, so
there. Okay.
David Chang is the boss of these angels, basically.
Right.
And they're
Who are the angels? We know Moonlee is
they're
one.
a secret sort of organization as such, brought in to do what the police can't do.
Okay.
And this particular time, the police are getting killed off
Yes.
by these gangsters. So
And does it have anything to do with the Golden Triangle and opium?
yes, it will. Yes,
To
it
control
all-
that?
Yeah.
Okay, right. There she is!
And she looks stunning.
She looks absolutely brilliant.
Moonlee is
She always looks
gorgeous.
fantastic.
Very cute. Of course, she started back in the likes of Zoo Warriors.
Yes, and Mr. Vampire.
There's a Vampire. Winners and Sitters. She had a
That's
great wee
right,
cameo
yeah.
with Yuen Biao. So, but she wanted to move into action. So when she left Golden Harvest, she got into hardcore action. But there is some stuff I have seen Moonlee do that most praised action stars of Hollywood would not do.
Yeah.
Like I said to you, there's a film, Fatal Termination, that we need
Is
to
this
see.
the one where they jump out the window and she got burned?
Ultra Force 2, that's Devil Hunters. So
Oh,
yes,
sorry,
there's, yeah, but they all have something there that really. It's very rare that Moonlee does a bad movie.
Yeah.
Not that they're all perfect, but they all have something that you want to see.
Yes.
You know.
This is, I think very much this is the direction with our audiovisual commentary. I mean, you've had people reach out to you saying we need more coverage on Hong Kong cinema.
Yeah.
This is very much the direction I would love to go with our audiovisual commentaries, you know, a much more serious approach to it. First time watches for me, in-depth information from you,
definitely.
making me appreciate these films more, and obviously you know, telling me information and making me more excited, and this is the direction that I want to go.
Yeah,
so
there's plenty to, I mean, with
of
plenty
course
to get
there's,
through.
there's a lot there,
a
so
lot to get through.
there's plenty of material that we can have for the channel
Yeah.
to do it. But for me, watching this film, I have to say this is the first time watch for me. I'm trying to follow the story and chat to you, and I'm reading
Of
what's
course,
going on and everything. Looking at this, fabulously shot, and to see this cleaned up would be
this with a
incredible.
4K cleanup would be stunning.
Yeah,
I mean, they could charge me 50, 60 quid and I'd still buy it.
yeah,
Do you know, it's one of those movies, I have it 3 times.
yes, because you love it so
Because
much.
I love it. And this for me is the better version of it. This is the out of print Maya release from Hong Kong. And it's the best print. This is the initial Hong Kong Angel release as such.
Mhm.
Although still releases Iron Angels on the front cover.
Yeah.
This guy in the middle.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me get his name. Hideki Saijo is a Japanese
Hideki Saijo.
actor who hasn't been in a massive amount of stuff, especially not in Hong Kong, even back in Japan. Not him, the one
Yes, yeah,
in
guy,
Control.
yeah.
And he unfortunately died 2 years ago, so
Ugh.
we'll not see any more from him. But he
So we
does
won't get any
he does a
retrospective
fantastic job in this. And this, I think, was his first Hong Kong action movie. But he does brilliant. Especially going up against the likes of the girls in question, but also the likes of Wang Jingli. He gets to go toe to toe with him.
Right, okay.
And he does the job. And again, that's down to some amazing action choreography
From Tony.
from Tony and the other guys involved. But
So
he looks great as
who
well.
are angels?
He is one of the angels.
Right, okay, so he is an angel.
He's an
so
angel.
it's not all female, that's interesting.
No, Alex Fong, who we saw in The Office previous, who was brought in, Mr. Fong from America. He would be considered the American Asian brought in.
Okay.
He is also joins the angel team. We have Moon Lee and Elaine Loy, who we haven't been introduced
Loy,
to.
yeah, okay.
Yes, there she is.
Yeah,
Here
she
is now.
comes. That's her. Gorgeous,
she-
another gorgeous girl.
Yes.
She, do you know, every time I've seen her in something, she always plays quite like vibrant characters.
She's a bit of a psycho.
I love her.
From what I've heard. But she also was in Red Wolf.
I
You
love
would
that
have seen
they're
her-
using their real names. Actually,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
Lynn, this is Elaine.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of nice. Yes, Red Wolf is one of the
That's for
films
you.
I've seen her in. Yeah, that's probably
I love this
the
scene.
biggest one.
Thanks, handsome guy. And then she just leaves him. She just gets this handsome guy to take, and he is gorgeous.
He is beautiful.
To help. Oh, it's like, oh.
So Elaine White, Loy.
Yeah,
Sorry, my apologies.
jewelry. She's obviously beat the shit out of Mr. T on the way in.
She has. She's stolen some of his. In terms of like action stardom, a big female action star.
No, for that period,
Mm-hmm.
the late 80s into the early 90s, she did have plenty of roles.
Mostly alongside Moon Lee and Yukari Oshima.
No, actually, Angels 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2, she gets a bit more.
Gorgeous.
A bit
shot.
more is not
That
beautiful.
that is
And the
stunning.
colour.
Yeah, the colours in there is.
Yeah, in part 2, Elaine gets a bit more involved in her story. Sorry, becomes a bit more centerpiece. But then, yeah, she didn't take off as much. She's not as much of a fighter as Moon and Yukari and the rest of them. And I mean, even Moon's background is in dance. Yukari would probably be the more legit martial artist of them all.
Right. Okay. So
But again, when you see what Moon has done and what she
yes,
does here,
clips that I've seen of Moon Lee in the things that she has done and what I've seen of her, things that you've showed me, I'm like, Jesus, and I think I said to you, God, that's awfully balletic in how she moves. That would
That's
make
why-
sense. I
that's
didn't
why.
know that she was a dancer.
yeah.
So-
Same with Cynthia Khan.
Oh,
As
oh
well.
my God, I love her.
I love Cynthia Khan,
I
and
like
she's
Seawolves.
incredibly. Yeah, Seawolves is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Incredibly underrated. And for me, out of let's say the 4 of them, I mean, I know there's lots more, including Cynthia Rothrock,
Yes.
who is phenomenal
Yeah.
in her moves. But again, Cynthia was brilliant, but she just kind of drops below because she didn't have the same impact, I don't believe, or the same power as what these girls give. For me, Moon and Yukari are top of the list always. I think perhaps Rothrock comes in there at maybe 3 to share. Put it this way: if Moon and Yukari were sharing the top spot, Cynthia Rothrock and Michelle Yeoh share the second spot.
Okay.
Then we've got Cynthia Khan and the rest come into play there, you know. But yeah, I mean, this is the first movie I ever saw Elaine Loy in, and I always thought she was fun in it. She gets the front cover on the VHS, which is what drew me to the film way back when. And Moon's very reserved and very conservative.
Yeah.
But so David Chang is Charlie. Basically, he
He's
runs
the
the Angels. He But it's not as secretive as Charlie's Angels, you know. There's
Well, no, clearly not.
No.
They're out having a drink in the
Right,
bar
yeah.
here.
So they all know who's who, and this is the new addition. Then you've got Alex Fong,
Okay.
and Alex Fong.
And did this angel organization, kind of thing play out in the sequels, or are they all kind of unconnected?
No, they are all
They're
connected.
all connected?
So there is legitimately only 3 Iron Angels movies.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3. You've got 2 takes them into a jungle setting and has some of
2
the
is the one
with
that
the
I've
action.
seen
Oh
where
my
she's
God, that's the one
with
where
the
they're
gun.
fighting in
Oh,
the,
yeah.
fighting in the jungles, and the fight scene between her and Yun Tak is outstanding. And 3 is the one where Moon Lee takes on the villainess and her henchmen with a pair of nunchuckers, like takes on about 60 men. There's a lot of fun
Wow,
moments in part
very
3,
good, yeah.
but production values drop.
Okay, it's a bit of a shame.
It is a shame. And they moved to Thailand, which I think that's because it was a cheaper shoot, and you see it. You know, it
Yeah.
kind of drops it there. Obviously, only in the last 20 years, Thai movies really picked up
Mm-hmm.
and become
It's-
something.
I'm really
Oh.
intrigued by the fact that they
She was about
use their
to slip a ring drug from her.
yeah,
ring.
seeing that there. It's interesting that they use actually all
Gardens.
their own real names.
Yeah, yeah. But you do find that a lot, whether it comes across in actual Cantonese as their real names or it's just the
Mm.
subtitles
Yeah.
that are bringing up their real names. But yes, there's many movies where they call Jackie and they call,
Yes.
you know, especially when it comes.
This here is gorgeous.
Well,
No, just that shot
oh,
and
right,
the
no.
colour. No,
Yes, I
no,
know.
that's very 80s.
Yep.
That's why I love the 80s, man.
Similar scene with Andy Liu, sorry, in I think Magic Crystal, perhaps, or
It's great shots,
for the
honestly.
the workout shots. But it is a very 80s movie. It is 87, obviously, but
Yeah.
it is drenched, but a very modern 80s movie.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
there's not.
to me, those colours, those harsh colours of blue,
Yeah,
the
yellows,
yellows,
yeah.
the chrome, the reds,
Mm-hmm.
all scream 80s action
Yeah.
to me. And that's what attracts me to a film. If I watch a trailer, so I watched the trailer for Iron Angels
Mhm.
for the very first time, 2019, and I was like, oh my god, I want to see it because of the way these like shots like this here in it, which has the intense green,
The lighting.
the blue lighting, all of that, and I was like, oh, I want to watch this.
Yeah.
Whereas modern action films are a little bit too bright.
Yes.
They're all like
They are,
daytimey
they are.
and things like that. These are dark.
Well, one
these
thing
are
I've
gritty.
always championed is the night lighting of Hong Kong movies. I mean,
yeah,
look at this.
that's it's
again.
absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful shot.
Isn't it?
Beautiful shot.
Absolutely. But there's the majority, and they've managed to keep that strong now, even if they're in a forest or they're in the city or whatever, they seem to light things stunningly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's greens and it's
Okay.
blues, and
Yeah.
that's why when I was shooting Splash Area, I couldn't wait to get indoors to shoot because I could then play with the lighting.
Mm.
I didn't have the budget to create outdoor lighting,
Yeah.
but when I got inside and I was able to create color filters and lights and whatnot and shadows and fog or smoke coming through, I had so much fun, and I managed to bring in purples and greens and
Yeah.
yellows to do that, and that's what these movies have inspired me to do.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's blue and then that wood pops out of
Yes.
browns and yellows, you know.
It would be. I mean, it would be an absolute trip to watch you direct a film like this
Oh, I would absolutely adore it.
at this kind of level of quality.
Yeah.
You know, and I suppose quality has moved on from this. I mean, but to me, this is quality
This
filmmaking.
is still, this still holds up.
Mhm.
There's nothing about this that makes me say, oh, it's one of those 80s movies.
Mhm. Definitely not. Definitely not.
It's a lot of fun. And the smoke.
I love it. Yeah, all that kind of fog and
Ooh, barrel of monkeys. Oh, I love. Remember the wee James Bond camera?
Oh,
You'd see
yeah,
that
yeah.
often in spy movies, wouldn't you?
Yes,
that
yeah.
clicker.
which probably didn't work in real life.
No, well. So what we have...
yeah.
Go on.
No. I'm watching it, just thinking, where's the restoration for this? Because
I know. It's criminal, isn't it?
it is. It really is criminal. I mean, this is better than I expected. It was
what I would like to see from the likes of, let's say, Idiot Films in particular,
We're just putting it out there.
or Eureka, you know, if
yeah.
need be, is the Iron Angels trilogy.
Mhm.
As much as part
It's a box
3,
set.
as much as part 3 drops, I bet it still has the action content there that will make the fans want it.
Mhm.
And Iron Angels 3, I don't even think ever had a release here, even on VHS. Like, I've never seen a copy of it. I've never been able to, and I'm always looking. But for that trilogy box set
Mhm.
to be completely cleaned up, restored, extras
Mhm.
galore in it. I mean, the majority of these people are still around today.
Yeah.
They could be interviewed freshly, you know, and get a... I don't think they even realised what they were creating back then.
No.
And it is a film that launched 1,000 imitations.
Absolutely.
You know, there is...
It still seems today.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. There is movies coming out from Hong Kong, low budget action movies that still have the angel in the title. That's not to say they can't use it, obviously, but it's still a throwback to what this and its collective movies were. That's what they want to be. And again, for Teresa Wu to come up with this kind of thing and have the team involved, potentially as not a first time filmmaker legitimately, but this was her major project. It's amazing.
What another great shot there. Isn't it? The fact that whenever we were looking at the kind of production crew there, that it was a lot of females, is great. I mean, 1987 to have so many women behind your film, in front of and behind the camera.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, I love the striking of the red and the blue.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Together. Yeah.
And again, you see that cleaned up and bouncing, it's just gonna pop.
Yeah.
But yes, so we have like the likes of Hideki and Alex Fong and David Chang, who seemingly lead the team, but it actually all boils down to the girls. That's what it's about. And the soundtrack,
this music is
if I had this turned up to 20, 30 here instead of 5 that it's on, the pumping of that. Yeah.
Love that silhouettes. Oh, George, where's this movie been all my life? It's been right here.
It is amazing. And it hasn't even really, it hasn't really kicked off.
No, it hasn't, but I'm appreciating so much about how this is filmed already.
Yeah. As you can see, there's no wires there.
I was just about to say, there doesn't seem to be any wire work, and Asian action stars are like fearless.
They are. I think I'd be okay getting up, but if I look down, I'd shut myself.
Oh no, yeah.
But that's not an easy climb.
That's not an easy. It doesn't look like an easy climb.
These are thick beams that you're trying to get a grip around, but oh Jesus, where's he going? Oh,
he's going there to that window. So wonderful. Oh, handy gadget.
Handy gadget, and this is what again part of the joy of Iron Angels is the gadgets. The same with part 2, you get a bit of gadgets going on. Part 3, there's a little more. Like, yeah, it's gorgeous, though, isn't it? But this is the famous blue light of Hong Kong movies. You know, we know it's dark, we know it's nighttime, but we can still pretty much see everything.
Absolutely.
And yes, they have torches, but it still works.
Yeah.
We it's in our heads and it's dark, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. But so Iron Angels, out of the 3 of them, would probably be the least action-packed.
Right, okay.
It's perhaps the best made, but it's the least action-packed. Part 2 probably has the most action and is still very well made, but moves from the city to the jungles. And then part 3 is, say, kind of just takes a mixture of both there, and but drops its production values. And I always thought in my own head, what is my favourite one? I absolutely adore this.
Mm-hmm.
But part two, I think it just stands out as something a wee bit more exciting. I think there's just more speed in it, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Whereas this is primarily a spy action thriller.
Mm. My God, if only every safe was that easy to open, right?
Well, it was in the 80s. And you've got to have that high-tech equipment. But yes, there's a lot of fun little gadgets and things. And again, to us, they seem outdated perhaps now, but...
No, there's something fundamentally quite nostalgic about it.
Isn't there? Yeah.
That makes me, like, still get excited.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. They were high-tech back then, weren't they? Really?
I mean, obviously, Angel has its influences in Charlie's Angels.
Yes,
but
of course.
I mean, Charlie's Angels was known as Jiggle TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, with its women, with Farrah Fawcett and Tanya Roberts,
yeah,
God rest her soul,
there
and all
was,
running about with their, or they're, very much sexualized.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they were women who used their sexuality to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
This is not that kind of film.
Nope.
This is very much women who can perform.
Yep.
When they need to.
Oh, without a doubt.
And they got to step up. This is brutal.
This is where you get to see how nasty Carrie Oshima is.
The fact that she's laughing at this is kind of scary.
Yeah, this always made me cringe with her,
Oof.
Because this, I think this may have been the first movie I'd seen with her.
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen Moon and maybe a couple of other wee things here and there, but I think this was my first Yukari Oshima movie.
What a sadist.
Oh yeah.
You would never do that with someone's blood now. God only knows what you get. Right though?
It's true. I wouldn't even do it then.
No, that's right.
That's the 80s.
So far Yukari's getting a lot of the moves in here.
Yes. Yeah. She is basically the kick-ass villain. And she does get to throw a majority of moves in here.
Are these policemen hanging up?
Yeah.
They are.
Well, no, they're... I think it's a mixture of policemen and her own men who have failed her.
Right, that she's just torturing to death. Wow.
But again...
Is this Hong Kong Harbour?
No? I'm not too sure where they are. No, it wouldn't be Hong Kong Harbour, no. But... Gosh. But yeah, it's... for me, it is definitely one of the best Hong Kong. Again, not so much because it has the right amount of action or anything like that. It's just is a title that I would go to first.
Yeah.
If somebody says pick out your 10 most exciting Hong Kong movies, it would quite possibly be in that top 10. If they said pick your absolute top 10, I don't know if it would be there.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of choice.
That's the trouble. I mean, I probably have a tenth of what I really want to be watching, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's
scary, isn't it? Yeah.
So, of course, the old kiss me cliche.
Yeah, of course. You've seen it in every film.
They had part here overnight to keep an eye on the drug dealers. Fell asleep, got caught.
This guy's being a wee bit...
He's enjoying it.
Isn't he? He's like, oh, here. It's a bit like dogging.
I have never done it. I don't know.
No, well, neither have I. Just saying.
Yeah.
Young love. Now this is no longer acting.
They're like...
She's into it now. Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, thank you.
We're working.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so cute. I love her.
Yeah, she really is. And again, one thing that Yukari Oshima does very well, Moon Lee does very well, and Yukari Oshima, I must admit, is comedy.
Really? Okay.
And while this was one of their first major productions I'd seen with them in it, having through the years seen them in comedy action films, they are fantastic.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like The Big Deal from 1992 is so fucking wacky and so off the wall. But the two of them get on like cartoon characters in it.
Wow, okay.
And they do it so amazing. It's almost like it's just second nature to them to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. The music's building. This here, Stanley Tong, see him?
Yeah.
Director of Vanguard, Kung
Wow.
Fu Yoga.
That's
So he's there as one.
young he looks.
Yeah, he's there as one of the leading stunt guys, obviously helping
Right,
with the
okay.
action as
Yeah.
well. And then he goes on to basically direct action in the sequels as well.
Okay, so
So
he
he does.
became the stunt coordinator and
Yeah, so he's
fight choreographer.
he's worked his way up, just like all of them have.
Mhm.
Same as Jackie, they've all worked their way up. But that's him in the stripy shirt. He's a good-looking guy,
Yeah, it's actually a very attractive guy.
and he also I watched something recently with him. Oh, Better Tomorrow 2 cameos in it
Right.
as a wee cop. Oh, so she's obviously distracting them
Yeah, of
because
course. Because he's getting the drugs.
the music.
Yeah.
It's so 80s, isn't it?
Oh, but I love it.
Yeah,
This is just the decade that
I definitely
I
want
dream of.
to take some of that music for an action movie.
Yeah.
Fart.
Sorry, excuse me?
I said, oh fart. I could have said, oh fuck.
Oh,
But I was trying to be polite. Couldn't get away with that one.
Oh, dear. That was an unexpected turn.
Getting shot from the harbour. Hey, I like that one.
Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah. Like a hole in the head. I love her brooch there. It's very angel-like, isn't
It
it?
is really nice.
Oh, it's not a harbour I probably would like to jump into.
Oh, God, just it's freezing.
Yeah. Oh. Isn't there just a thing with Asian actors, people, community, life that makes everything look cool?
100%.
Whatever they wear, whatever they
One.
do, whatever they drive.
Absolutely.
It's just like
The way they smile. I mean,
everything. If you tried that with a European, they'd be like, "What are you looking at?
yeah, they would.
What are you
They would.
wearing? What are you doing?"
I feel like I'm sliding on this sofa here and getting further and further down. So that one little bag that they lifted was worth 30 million. Jesus.
Shocking.
She's like jeweled up to the nines.
She has a
isn't she?
head case like.
Oh, I mean, she's just so funny.
But I do like Moon's role in this because she does get to play. She gets to act. She gets to be a proper mature actress in it.
Mm-hmm.
Where then, because of her success of this and other movies, and a lot of people would throw her into more of a B role where she just become a helpless woman who then takes revenge, or a cop,
Yeah.
and that's it. Whereas this kind of gets to be a bit more characteristic and enjoys, I guess, showing what she can do because she is a good actress. Love the music.
Do you know who does the music for this?
I do
film?
not.
Be interesting actually to find out who does the music for this movie.
I would actually love to have that as my ringtone on my phone.
Yeah, what a ringtone actually.
And it does have that kind of Carpenter feel to it.
It does. And Carpenter was a very skilled musician. He never got enough credit for the fact that he created some of the most lasting theme tunes in history.
It
So
does stick with us.
yeah.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it.
Just so befitting to the whole film actually. Just, she looks very different when she's wet.
Yeah, she looks different.
She does.
You look a wee bit different when you're wet.
I know she got it. I mean, if I seen her, kind of flaying me and then getting out of the swimming pool, I would have been like, "Oh, you married you." Didn't recognize you with wet hair.
Did you ever see her in the likes of Outlaw Brothers?
Yukari Oshima?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, she was phenomenal in Outlaw Brothers.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And as she is in most things, Burning Ambition as well, with Frankie Chan. And she is again in Avenging Quartet, as we talked about earlier off camera. We talked about the Avenging Quartet, which
Yes, we did, yeah.
to me deserves any kind of cleanup and widescreen release, because every release I've seen of it is pretty badly cropped, dubbed, coloured, or the picture quality is just shit, plain and simple.
Yeah.
So I was then discussing in the same area on the phone.
Yeah.
The problems. But Avenging Quartet for me, I went back to it, and when you just take in what's going on, the story, the stunts, the fights are fun. It actually makes for quite an interesting watch and quite a good movie.
Yeah.
But that's another one I would like to see get a bit of respect and a bit of cleanup, you know.
I think it boils down a lot of the time with films like this, cult films. It's about the respect.
Yeah.
Who's behind, who wants to see it, who's behind that restoration. Are they going to respect the material enough to do it justice?
Yeah.
And this is why I continuously say, you know, and have messaged 88 about it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Why can we not get more of this type of film? Because there is a fan base for it.
Oh, without a doubt.
There is a need and a want for it.
If this came out on Blu-ray from any of those aforementioned names,
yeah,
they would sell like hotcakes.
Oh, they would.
Without a doubt.
They could even do like what they did with what they've been doing
with the
new shop
Dams?
and, you know, limit it to 3,000.
Oh,
Once they're gone, they're gone.
Quick switch.
Yeah. Clever clogs. Oh my god, that is the freakiest dummy I've ever seen in my life. If I walked into a shop and that appeared, I'd be worse than mannequin.
But yeah, clever switch, like, but
yeah. So pleased with herself there.
And again, a very beautiful woman.
Yes.
Yukari Oshima, as was Moon Lee.
Probably part of their appeal.
I just wish they'd gotten, but that's a rare thing for such beautiful people to be able to move the way they do and execute the stunt work that they do.
This is the thing. It's beautiful women don't get the opportunity to be tough.
No.
They are always typecast. What I love about Asian cinema is that beautiful women tend not to be typecast. They tend to have a strength to them that was very much missing from a lot of like early American films where women weren't particularly strong.
Yeah.
You know, they were maybe a little bit whiny or obnoxious or relied on men to kind of save them from something. With Asian cinema, women were in control.
They ruled the roost.
In a lot of ways. You know, when they appeared on camera. You know, I watched City Hunter with Jackie, and there's two fabulous...
Joey Wong and...
Yeah, love Joey Wong.
The wee Japanese girl, I can't remember her name.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could have been throwaway characters.
But that was the minimum. Oh, and Jing Mi Yu, who was the big breasted girl as well.
Yeah.
With the big hat.
Yes.
And the guns.
Yes.
I mean, they have, she's from Naked Killer, so they have had major action roles.
Yeah.
I was going to say what they have in City Hunter is quite minor.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they could have very easily, been throwaway characters with nothing to do.
Yeah.
But they're given something.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt. But I think that's what has drew me to as a young... I mean, I started watching these when I was 5, Hong Kong movies. But what hooked me on them was the fact that everyone practically was treated the same. You know, if you were a man or a woman or a child, even the kids that get the fight in these movies, you know, it's like there was just no like, much as you say with Hollywood, there was no yes, there is the screaming woman that needs help now and again, but often it's a wee granny or something like that in Hong Kong movies, or genuinely a woman that can't fight. But they still I've seen
Put up a decent
victims and hostages, female victims and hostages in these movies that still.
Oh, are we finally going to get to see men move?
Maybe. Oh!
Not quite yet.
No.
Not quite yet. So we were
Oh.
early.
Da-da! You're going to see Elaine move and play to her advantage. Here she goes.
Love her.
Hi!
They're all absolutely smitten by her, aren't they? Is she Taiwanese in real life?
I'm not 100%. So I'm not 100%.
Yes, but don't point it to her. They're so PC.
Again, it's
aren't they?
she's an actress I wouldn't have 100%
knowledge of
because she wasn't in enough, and she did make an impression, definitely, but not enough for me to know too much. As far as I'm aware, she's still kicking around. She's not acting.
She's not acting?
She's not acting, I don't
But
believe.
she's still alive, that's
Still
what
alive.
you're saying.
Yeah, she's still alive. As is Moon, of course.
Yes. Who still looks fabulous. I've seen pictures of
Yeah.
her, from a few years back, and she still looks
I
very,
think Moon
really well.
has come back to acting. Oh, here we go.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Shit.
I mean, they're just, sorry.
It's
the
their
action
movements.
is just...
But it's even if it's
savage.
slight or brief.
Yeah.
It's boom.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing staccato about it. It's
Nope.
just like, get it done. Which gives it a sense of realism and fluidity
Totally.
that, is quite rare to find, in Western films.
Mm-hmm.
There are some where you watch the fight sequences and you're like, oh, it's really, really, really well done, and it's fast and it's sharp.
Today.
But yeah, these are
Go.
these are much, much better.
Oh yeah. And again, this is 33,
With that sugar.
34 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
34 years ago. That's the age,
Yes,
age
come
of my
on.
husband.
Truly. Love what? It should just say, don't do it, because I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, for the power and her.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is like my mantra. If a woman can give it out like a man, she can take it like a man. So I love that women get treated exactly the same. They're gonna throw a kick, they're gonna get kicked back. And
her
let's
kicks.
face it, Yukari Oshima is kicking ass.
Her kicks are phenomenal.
Wow, look at that. What a move. And it's they're so quick.
Yeah.
Is Elena gonna start fighting? Oh my god. I'm excited.
Let her go.
Oh, George.
George. Oh, Elaine.
Gosh,
Elaine.
Elaine and Yukari. Oh, Jesus.
What do you see?
Wow.
Yeah.
Was she just double?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I thought that it was like, oh, that wasn't
Again,
her.
she is not a fighter,
Okay.
but she does try.
She's very obviously double there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. One. Oh, whoa! Elaine! Nice.
She's leaving him.
See ya.
Oh. Again, another gorgeously lit shot.
Yeah, I like shots like that.
We talked about comic book panels before in the review for Wonder Woman. That, to me, is a comic book panel.
There's a lot of iconic looking shots in this film. You know, like there was a thing there, just Moon standing on the balcony, and she's just doing like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've seen that image.
But that's what, yeah, they're like
That
almost
scene
like
where-
lobby card shots,
Yes.
aren't they?
Yukari with the chains there in the silhouette. Such a shot.
Yeah. So she's
Love it,
saying
love it.
that even though she left
Uh-huh.
Alex Fong behind, how could you do this kind of thing? And she's
Uh-huh.
like, don't worry, I've bugged him so we can find him and we'll know where she takes him.
Okay.
So it was like almost like her ploy to get him caught so they could find out where their secret base was.
Okay. Was it intentional or accidental?
That's what she's trying to say.
Okay, that it was intentional.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Oh yes.
Finally.
This is what I've seen in clips.
Yeah. Because she's in the
I mean,
same.
please
She's
tell
in
me
the
this is
same
not nearly
costume.
over.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, my God, this
She's-
couldn't be the end.
She's in the same costume as the front cover of the VHS.
Yeah.
So we know there's a great action piece coming up.
Mm.
No, she's not in her little leotard now.
No, it's definitely not.
Oh fuck. There we go.
I just love the way these stuntmen just throw themselves all over the place. Like, yes!
I mean,
Ooh.
what was the word I was looking for? Moonlee, commitment. When she gets into the action, she is committed.
Yeah.
You know, you can see it in her face and her actions. Like, you know, that's real gunfire.
I was just gonna say, this does not look like Hollywood gunfire. This to me looks like she's like actually like
Cringing
from these squibs going
Yeah.
off. It's like, wow.
You see, he's got.
And let me tell you, I went to a firing range one time, right?
Uh-huh.
And see firing a gun, mate, it ain't easy.
Yeah.
I nearly dislocated my shoulder. So it did, just firing a gun. I was like, oh my God, this is so painful. And it's hard to do.
Yeah, I did.
So I can totally respect, because a lot of people are like, oh, gunfire. Like,
Yeah.
they're looking at the fight sequences and the intricacy of the choreography and being
Yeah.
like, oh, God, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. I'm looking sometimes to be like, mate, I wish I could know what just holding
Fire
a
a
gun
gun.
was like, because that's not easy. And
Yeah.
for them to move
There is power in,
at the
in it.
speed and the power that they're moving,
Mm.
they would have had to have trained
Oh, without
like mad.
that shot.
Yeah, great shot.
Yeah, yeah. And there's so many different things to think about. Real explosions.
Yes.
Make sure I don't run into that. Real gunfire.
But there's
Make
been
sure I don't run into that.
there's been time, you've told me about things where there's been explosions and people have gotten very seriously hurt in explosions in Hong Kong cinema, you know.
Yeah. Famously, the one with Moonlee
Yeah.
at the end of Devil Hunters.
Yeah.
And Chow Yun-Fat in A Better Tomorrow 2, and the explosion goes off behind him at the bank at the mansion. You know, there's so many
Or
of
did
them.
he get hurt during that? as
That
well?
was, you didn't expect that to be so big and powerful. And
Wow,
that's
okay.
what really threw him. But so many. Even Jackie at the end of Police Story 2,
Yeah.
when they blew up the fireworks factory.
That's
that
right,
was real,
yes,
you
God,
know.
I absolutely love that. It's incredible. Love this so much.
This is a fantastic rescue mission.
This, George, is living up to and beyond my expectations.
Yeah, oh, good. Oh, fuck.
Love that. That is brilliant.
So Elaine feels that she needs to make up for her mistake
Yeah.
and put more into the rescue. See? Oh, Jesus. Did you see how
Yeah.
he fell on that other guy?
Good God.
Yeah, she does get a wee bit bitchy about it.
Yeah, well.
But in,
It's part of
in
the
a
charm
fun
of the
way.
film,
Yes, yes. Jesus, there. I mean, this is a scene that you would find at the end of most American movies.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I mean, you even think of the likes of Police Story, that opening,
Oh, my
the car,
God. That Michael Bay nicked.
and the Fast and Furious franchise next.
Oh, did they as well? I
Yeah,
haven't watched
they
it.
did,
I've
okay.
watched it for God's
But it's
sake.
like, that's like a scene that, yes, you'd expect to see at the end of a Hollywood film,
Mhm.
not at the beginning
Yeah.
of a film, you know.
I know, right?
And it just sets up for what is going to come next.
Look at the holes going in the wall.
I know.
They're not fake holes.
No.
Because you just couldn't. There's thousands.
Mhm.
Holy shit.
I love how you carries like sat there like not one bit phased
No.
by these noises, and like I say, that was clearly a model.
Yeah.
And gunfire as well, real gunfire is loud.
Oh, aye.
So the fact that she can stand there with such a straight face, not even blinking at those going off, is
Yeah.
incredible. There must be such incredible, like, focus in what
yeah.
they're all doing.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. You'd have to. You'd have to. I mean, this is real. If I was to do this scene today, I know I have the effects on my computer to edit in the gunshots. Look at that.
Nice.
They were wrapped, engulfed in flames there. But I have the effects to create that without knowing that I'm not putting anyone in danger.
Yeah.
But at the same
But
time, it wouldn't have.
Not at all.
Because there's natural flinches from them, from the actors. There's natural pain.
And that's what you... Well, you don't want to inflict pain on your actors, of course not. But, I mean, if I was acting... Say you were doing an action film. And I'm not an actor. You know, I did do acting as a child and stuff. Yes. But I'm not an actor, really.
Not
But if one of your actors was like, I'm not jumping off a building, I would be like, George, I'll do it. Get me a mattress and I'll throw myself off this building.
This?
Yeah, I will. I would do that. I would 100%
look at that shot.
at that.
Now that lets you see they're doing it. There's no
now, clearly, if they landed like that in real life, they'd have broken their legs. But
well, I think the idea is, and something I've always thought about, is when you're coming down through the trees, they're going to break your fall. You know, the branches are going to, and everything else. That's the trouble, yeah.
She actually mentions it. I'm brave. I jump from such a great height. That's painful. Yes, I'm sure it is, Elaine.
But these women, I mean, we talked again. We did a review on The Mandalorian. We talked about Gina.
Yeah, Gina Carano. Yeah,
being fucking a muscle bound wall.
Yeah.
And these girls practically don't have a bit of muscle on them, but still put themselves, in my opinion, through more than what she has shown me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know she does her stunts and all that kind of thing, but she still does not, for some reason, does not impress me, because these women...
I think as well, it's the time. Back then, I mean, you've told me that in Hong Kong cinema, people, I mean, they used to just kind of go and do things without the permission of the authorities and just kind of be like, oh, we're going to do this. And then they would blow up 20 cars or whatever. Yeah. And that would be it. Today, it's much more controlled. Of course. And I think if Gina Carano was making films in the 80s, I imagine
she could have been doing
she'd have been throwing herself off buildings.
It's an era I only wish I could have made movies in.
Oh, absolutely, George.
Jesus. The wonderful Huang Zhengli. One of the greatest kung fu actors, kickers, fighters, on-screen fighters. Phenomenal man. So he is. So he plays, obviously he works with Yukari in some respect in terms of the drug trade. But the Angels are going to work with him now in a bit of a what do you call it?
Like a ploy to
throw her,
bring her down.
Like a bit of a
double cross.
Double cross. That's the word. I could not think of that word.
No, you were struggling there
at all. Double cross.
You were kind of you were trying to get it out. Wasn't quite going out.
It wasn't quite what I wanted. And then they've kind of took his daughter now as a
hostage.
Leverage. Leverage. It's different. On the side of good, it's leverage. On the side of bad, it's hostage.
This guy's gonna have a wee scuffle. Nice.
That's one thing you don't get to see enough of Huang Zhengli do in his modern day action. He's always sort of been stereotyped in the kung fu movie, the traditional kung fu movie.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoy him in modern stuff as well.
I have to say that this kind of choreography and fighting really excites me. I'm into this. And I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. But I have to say, I prefer his films. That's incredible. What a stunt. I do prefer his films where things are blowing up, where he's got more gunplay. I do find in the likes of Bloodsport and Kickboxer, everything's a bit very much reserved.
Yes, it is.
It's not as kinetic as this. Whereas this kind of gets my heart rate going, you know, where I'm like, whoa, flip, it's so quick. And
it's exciting.
How do you move out of the way so fast? It's like...
because that's the thing, and that is down to the choreography is so well...
Now, that is not me saying that Van Damme's choreography in Kickboxer wasn't fantastic, and
No,
he doesn't do a
but-
good job.
But the way I look at that is when Kickboxer came out and everyone ranted and raved about it. For me, I look at the same year of what was coming out of Hong Kong,
Mm-hmm.
such as this,
Yeah.
which was around
Yes,
the same
87.
time.
Yeah, so he did.
And I think to myself, why is that?
Yeah.
You know, like why? How? You know, what?
But it was a very new thing for American audiences, wasn't it, at the time?
It was, and that's understandable. And
Mhm.
it still was made for a fun movie.
Oh, absolutely was.
So, but not only that. Then I think, well, what came out 10 years before?
Mm.
Oh, that was still much better
Yeah.
than Kickboxer. You know, 'cause Jackie Chan was doing the likes of Drunken Master, even Fearless Hyena, Snake and Crane, Hours of Shaolin, all those kind of movies that were 15 years before Kickboxer or any of Van Damme's biggest.
But there was
hits.
such little crossover at the time,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
We had to really wait till the VHS era to see things like this, because you weren't getting these in mainstream cinemas. Whereas with the likes of Kickboxer
In
and
London,
stuff,
you were, but not here.
well,
Definitely
that's
not.
what. Yeah, I'm
Not
sure
here.
in Northern Ireland we wouldn't have got things like this.
Oh, unfortunately, what a waste. What a waste. But also, I mean, you know, I said to you before, like the likes of Knockoff and Double Team to me are Van Damme's most exciting movies.
Yes.
Because they're obviously directed by Choi Hark and have fight choreography from Samo, and
Yeah.
to me
It always
that's
amazes me how Samo can move.
oh, he's phenomenal.
You know, just being a slightly larger man.
Yeah.
He can fairly bounce out of the way, like.
Without a doubt. But even to have that twist of the Hong Kong style on Van Damme, this is what I say about the likes of David Bradley. I would have loved for a Hong Kong director to get his hands on David Bradley,
Yeah.
because I reckon that David, had he made a move to Hong Kong, would have been the
Massive.
Scott Atkins we have today.
Yes.
Because Scott's obviously he
Scott's-
started in Hong Kong. He had his break in Hong Kong with Extreme Challenge, which I just got in from Germany. Black Mask 2,
Yeah.
the Medallion with Jackie Chan. So he,
Oh, why, of course,
he was,
yes.
Accidental Spy and things like that. So he was starting there.
And
but
Scott's delivering some
Scott,
really fun.
For me, Scott
fun-
is right now is the martial arts actor to watch.
Yes.
He is, without a doubt, just flooring everyone else
Yeah.
around him.
I mean,
you
having
know?
watched Avengement, and
God love Avengement.
I mean, watching things like that.
Sorry,
Another
the
great,
lighting.
yeah.
The lighting. Sorry.
And if they just cleaned that
Mhm.
and brought that actor's face out.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's very similar to a scene from Royal Warriors.
with Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh,
Love
which
her.
was Police Assassins
Yeah.
in Yes Madam 93 or 7 or
Whatever they want to call it.
117,
Yeah.
yeah. It's quite similar when
She looks like a different
Dukes
person
and
every time she's on
Alec
screen.
yeah.
Doesn't she?
She has that many costume and hair
Hair-
changes.
yeah, it's like, oh my goodness.
But yes, sorry. Scott has done exactly what I think what David Bradley should have done. What most American action stars and martial artists had, like Cynthia Rothrock, had they been serious about their career, had went to Hong Kong and gotten.
Well, Cynthia did,
Oh,
right?
she
And she
did.
did like the Yes Madam and
I mean, she done Yes Madam. She done Above the Law or Right and Wrongs with Yuen Biao, which is one of my all-time favorite Hong Kong movies. Above the Law 2, which was actually Lady Reporter or The Blonde
Yes,
Fury.
yeah.
Which was phenomenal too. Prince of the Sun, City Cops, which I find highly underrated and love. So many.
Yeah.
Top Squad or Inspector Wears Skirts.
I think that there's, but I don't think it's that the likes of Rothrock and Bradley didn't take their career seriously. I think
no,
it was
no.
the industry didn't take them seriously
Yes,
as
but that's what I mean.
performers.
Had a Hong Kong director of fight choreography got their hands on the likes of Bradley and that, who's a phenomenal martial artist, and the same with Mark Dacascos. If he had
Oh
gotten,
my god.
he's
I
done a couple of
love.
Hong Kong things. Yes, that's the thing, and even Drive.
Seen The Driver? The Driver
new one? Not
recently?
yet,
Oh, it's
no.
very good. I
okay.
enjoyed it. But yes, Drive and things like that.
Yes,
there,
and
yeah.
he was in
Crime
China
Frame
Strike
and
Force.
China Strike, yeah.
So if he had been out in Hong Kong even a bit earlier, that would have been a totally different career path for
Yeah.
him. You know,
Look at that pink behind there, that neon.
it's bursting, isn't it?
It is. Even on this DVD.
Mm-hmm.
That color is popping. But just, I mean, the camera is just.
Oof,
I'm
it is.
struggling to find a word to.
Everything's clean.
Very much.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of action films now. I mean, you watch a Michael Bay film, the camera's like a.
Yeah.
This is like, there is such a clean movement to the camera and how it follows the actors and the action that you're not kind of you don't feel like you're bouncing around with it.
Yeah.
It's very much, it's
what's-
almost
it's
like a
what's
part
going
of,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when it comes to the action.
Mm-hmm.
She's taking a huff now
Yes.
because he get caught. Oh dear. So there's obviously a little loose connection between these two, which doesn't carry over to
The sequels.
2 and 3. Yeah.
Okay. Gorgeous colours again.
Yeah.
Love the
But
use
you
of
notice
this
the different colours and tones for the goodies, the baddies, and it.
Yes, and the situations
Yeah.
and her change in style.
Mm-hmm. It all
The colour is changing
moves.
as she changes her styles.
Yeah.
I wonder if that
Ooh.
wasn't intentional.
Of course.
Ouch.
I wouldn't
Was an
imagine.
intentional thing?
Yeah.
I think it probably was, of course, but
Yeah, I mean that's what even here it's that nice cool blue. Everything's
some nice greens to make it kind of
pop. The green are popping. Yeah. The code is 1987. The year of production.
year of release.
Yeah.
You know what they were like in the 80s, making films in 1981, shelving them for 10 years,
there
you
was,
know?
yeah, but there was a period there where like the likes of Moon Lee, Chow Yun Fat, Andy Lau, they were making up to 12 movies a year.
Uh-huh.
You know what?
What American actor ever did that?
They would gurn about it. They would just constantly
right.
complain. I mean, I'd love to petition that out.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you? You would just love to be constantly rattling out that amount of movies every year and just...
Oh, it'd be so much fun.
It would be. One day, George, we'll get
One
there.
day, yes, we will.
We'll get there.
Very slowly. So just got...
2021 could be our year.
I'd make it my year.
Yeah.
Do it. She's obviously heard news of his dearth.
But he hasn't dearthed. He's still clicking.
I know. But they've gotten word that he is.
Oh.
So they think he is. 1987. Ooh. Playgirls. Now you see the way that was cut off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That makes me think
There's a wider
there's a full letterbox version of this movie somewhere that again a cleanup would give us a much more incredible viewing experience.
Yeah.
Look at those ears.
They're clear no leaving. Well, she's not. Well, no, she is.
Yeah, there was this
Rabbit
period for
sequence.
me.
Okay, so he's clicking on to
He's
what this
got
message
it.
means.
The
Yeah.
Year of the Rabbit. Yeah, this period for me, the late 80s, from let's say 85 into perhaps 95 is probably just too late or teetering on that decade there. That cross decade was some of the finest Hong Kong movies, I think. There was a lot of great stuff before it, obviously, but that became just where they were chucking stuff out left, right, and center. Let's say the actors that were doing up to 12 movies a year. I think there was one year where I had counted maybe 16 of Andy Lau's.
Wow, my goodness me.
And people, and he was still giving quality performances in every one. And I don't know, maybe they just go from one to the other, and
So, do you know, why the Girls and Guns genre kind of blew up? Why it kind of started? Do you know much about that kind of history behind it?
I don't. I mean, all I would imagine and could say is that Hong Kong film directors are always wanting to bring something new to the genre or to Hong Kong cinema in general. And this was a period when women had mainly been part of swordplay movies and kung fu movies, and even as Jackie's movies were coming out of the kung fu era, he had plenty of female kung fu starlets
Yes.
with him in those, often kicking his ass. And then once we get into the modern period,
yeah,
how do we shake things up? How do we make something different here?
Yeah.
And then
this kind of
came along, but also you had movies like Iron Angels, and a few others that really set the tone for it.
Yes. And paved the way for
that's what became. Yeah. But it was I think it was a pretty fast genre. Like, it was here and it was gone within 10 years almost.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then when you started hitting the late 90s with where the Gen X cops kind of movies came out, the girls who were seen as the next generation were all too pretty and falling into that American style of, and their moves weren't anything compared to these guys.
We're building up to something here. Music's telling me we are.
Their moves weren't as powerful as these girls were. They did not do the stunt work as these girls. I mean, if they fell down off the roof of a car, it was probably in the news because they did such an amazing thing. Whereas these guys are throwing themselves off buildings, and falling downstairs and getting shot at. So, it was a totally different generation that came in. The next wave of Hong Kong starlets really weren't doing what these guys were doing.
Do you think because of safety measures being brought in and things like that there, probably by that stage?
I would imagine it had to do with a little bit of it.
I'm sure Mike would be able to inform us.
But I think more so the fact that these girls just retired. This generation of female action stars just finished. They stopped.
But it's why I think I'm so impassioned, and why we're both so busy, and I think it's why I'm so impassioned to talk to you more about it, because it's something that I would love to do, is like bring women, and especially Asian women, back into the action mix and make them big, massive, gigantic stars.
It would be phenomenal. I mean, you would love to recreate this genre.
Absolutely.
With something fresh, perhaps.
Yeah.
But whether you needed to go back and not so much remake these movies, but...
No, I would never remake.
Lean on them for inspiration.
Absolutely.
That would be spectacular. Holy Jesus.
Just love that they just...
That's not CGI?
Blow shit. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Oh, boy.
Dear God.
Oh, no, look, the holes are phenomenal. And the masks are dreadful. It's like Belfast in the 80s.
I was just going to say, from at your sight.
Oh, boy.
And I know, those squibs going off are quite painful, aren't they?
Yeah, well, recently Mike had a squib going off on his arm, and that's what burnt his arm.
Oh, God.
I think it went off too much or caught fire in his shirt or something.
Shit.
They are dangerous to work with.
Yeah.
I think that's why I would prefer to stick with the digital, with the CGI, digital gunshots and the wounds and stuff, because I don't think it would eat me if I knew I'd destroyed someone's arm or burnt their body off because of it.
Me.
No, well...
I'd be like, sorry, we're making a movie here. It's all for the entertainment. Just got to deal with that.
Well, it's been said a number of times. Oh, so he's getting... Although he's helped them steal the truck, he's now going to get buried.
Oh, mate, come on, take the hat off and you can squeeze out.
I would actually be locking the door before all that comes in.
And like he's going to get stuck in there.
Angel 1 is trapped in the truck. Oh boy.
That is some thick cement.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's like stone.
It looks like stone.
That's possibly one of my worst nightmares right there.
Being buried alive? Christ, I couldn't even imagine.
Under cement? Oh Jesus. Oh, so they've done a few holes there.
Mm. Tap your shoe, Angel One.
The signal will be lost
Okay.
under that amount of
Rock.
rock. It's a very 80s thing.
Okay, so the signal is getting weaker and weaker.
Oh boy. There's a fantastic Moonley action comedy, martial arts action comedy called Nocturnal Demon.
Right.
I think it's, Nocturnal Demon. Released on VHS in America as Enter the Lady Kickboxer.
Oh, I've heard of this.
It is wild, about this glue sniffing serial killer who is on the loose in Hong Kong, and she happens to bump into him.
Oh dear.
It's fantastic, so funny. I've only unfortunately got the English dub American VHS, but it still makes for a very funny watch. But there's a fight scene that she does in it in a pair of roller skates.
Oh, I've seen the clip of that. Yes, dying to see that one. I think that's why I've heard of Enter the Lady Kickboxer, because I've seen that particular clip.
It is a lot of fun.
Do you know, in Hong Kong they have amazing locations? Amazing locations.
Oh yeah. Well, again, thankfully, as I say, we got there last year for a few days, and I was seeing places that I've watched for 30 years in the movies. You know, in fact, our hotel was literally right next door to the Police Story Mall.
Yes,
which I
took pictures of and video of and
it's
everything.
It's changed so much. It's changed dramatically, but just to be there, for me to get in there, and it was beside the alleyway from Heart of the Dragon, the first mission, where they do the car chase and they're flying over. So it was nice for me to be able to see these things, but even when we crossed the water, across the harbour and went up into the peak and stuff, from the top, what you can see from the top really opens up to just how much is there, and the amount of locations, like all the kung fu movies that they can do up there in the hills, and the new territories and stuff. So there's some phenomenal places, but just like here, that's why I love shooting here, because there's still a lot of places that nobody.
I mean, there's some great places here that can be gorgeous. They are beautiful little rabbits, actually. Some great locations here, you know, that could be really, really, really well utilized, that have never been utilized to their full potential, because people don't tend to film here. But
that's why I know where these little secret gems are, and like to go there.
I mean, there's places that I've, you know, like I love whenever I did walk, because I don't anymore. That's why I ended up the size of them. That I would go and I would find places that be like, God, has anyone else ever been here? Because no one's ever been here before, ever.
Very true.
I love it. Great soundtrack.
It's that particular, I guess it's their theme song, the Iron Angels theme tune. Absolutely love it. So of course they gotta pick the right one, don't they? That's a class shot though, like that.
Is. The eye lit up like that, and the blue coming through.
Beep 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 beep. Which helpful.
Help this, so that helped the signal.
Yeah.
And he's been sweltering, melting to death in there.
Well, they don't know he's in there. They obviously didn't
they're there for
the
gold.
Yeah.
Got you. Nice. Whoa. He moved quick.
Didn't he? Oh boy.
Fantastic location.
Isn't it?
Fantastic location.
There is something about construction sites.
Oh, yes.
I love to film a lot of them. In fact, the majority of scripts
construction sites and like mills.
Yes.
Like warehouses and mills. Flip me. My favourite locations.
Mm-hmm.
Just whenever I see them come up in a movie like the end of Terminator 2.
Oh,
when they went to the steel mill, I'm like, oh!
You know
get
what's
very excited,
coming.
yeah.
He's dripping.
And like in Lethal Weapon 3, when they go to the buildings where they're building the houses, and then they just blow up all the houses, and it's like, flip me.
Ooh.
Nice.
That It'll cool him
Puddle
down.
was a lot deeper than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Actually. He needed that. That was the vitality that he needed. Look, yeah. Nice.
Oh. Ooh, bloody hell.
So, I mean, something that I'm not particularly sure of is in Hong Kong action and martial arts films, is it no contact filming, or is it really contacting?
Oh no! It's full contact.
So
like
it's
I mean,
full
the power of him kicking someone, you could break your ribs theoretically.
Yes.
But yes, there is contact without a doubt.
So it's just control, but
it's
they're
control,
very
contact.
much contacting each other, not like in
I
Western
mean,
films.
there is particular moves, and mainly the ones that really stick out in your head would be full contact.
Mm-hmm.
Sammo was renowned for it, for really laying on a thick punch or a kick, you know. But there is some kicks there. I mean, even, you know, when Jackie fought against Huang Zhengli in Snake and the Eagle's Shadow, got his teeth kicked out.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So,
like legitimately?
like,
Wow.
Yeah.
Snake and Eagle's Shadow, which we're getting from Midi Apes very soon. It's exciting.
I know.
A new restoration.
My God, that would give me my 4th copy of it, I think.
Well, here, never have too many copies.
Yeah, it is a cracker, obviously. Oh fuck, here we go.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited. What?
This is relating to the final action scene.
Oh, right. Okay. So we're nearly. God, they go by so quickly. Who knew Chucky Rag
Chucky Rag
could cause so much damage?
You are gonna just shit yourself at this last one. We probably won't talk much, if I'm being honest.
Well, do you know what? I'm sure people that are watching it will be like, why aren't they saying anything? But I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that.
If you could see what we're watching.
Well, hopefully they will, if they can get their hands on a copy of this, because I know it is notoriously quite hard to find.
It is, unfortunately.
Yes, it is unfortunate. Now watching it for the very first time, I'm glad that I said let's do this, George, because I may not be informative about it, but I was impassioned enough to watch it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you've heard enough about. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Wow. Moon Lee could have been
Jesus
no
Lord.
more. Nearly lost her head.
She nearly got forked.
Wow.
So you'll find that this is where a lot of their wee gadgets come into play.
Okay. Nice.
Part of their clothing and stuff.
Nice. Yes. Come on, man.
Probably one of my all-time favorite Moon Lee fights. This.
She's not being doubled, is she?
No.
Wow, incredible.
And you can clearly see.
Yes, you can.
her,
You can
you know.
see her. Yeah.
So earrings and buttons are
Yeah.
many explosives, sorry.
Oh, right in her bum.
She looks dreadful in that long dress thing.
That costume is awful. But
Yeah.
I forgive it for what's going on.
And Moon looks spectacular.
She does.
It's funny, Moon Lee looks older and more mature here than she does in later roles, where she starts to look younger.
Oh, duds.
She didn't think
expect
she'd
you.
use all. Oh, here we go.
It was an excuse to get Elaine out of the way for
Yeah.
these two to really juke it out. Oh, wow. My goodness me.
Oh, tasty. A wee acid bracelet. It's a brutal end fight. Brutal. Oh, Christ.
Unbelievable. The movement,
Isn't it?
everything about it.
Look
Is
at
so,
it's the
it's
power
like,
here.
It's like a dance. A really, really savage dance, but flipping wow. Yeah, that looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
I wonder how many bruises they came away with from doing these movies. Like, oh my
Again.
god.
This is the interviews we want.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the things that we want to know. How hard was it to take these punches and kicks and nice.
I mean, you can't control a rubber hose 100%. Like,
No, you cannot, and the fact that they are.
Oh,
Ouch.
jeez,
Oh,
Louise.
Christ. We're gonna have Minley naked here in a minute. Oh.
Death blow.
Oh, is it? Oh, KO.
KO. Short but brutal. Like, absolutely brutal.
That was savage.
Sunday.
Oh, not quite the death blow we were
But
thought we were getting. Ah.
surprise. We're all like open-minded at this thing. Oh jeez, that's
Whoa.
forgot about that. Yay.
Wow.
But well, they obviously saved the best for last, but painful.
So is this pretty much the
Yeah.
end here? Wow, that went by like a
Yeah,
flash.
it's fast. This banana thing cracks me up. Should try.
Yeah, it's like, oh, a job for a banana.
Yeah, do you know? I think they realised how great of a success this was. That they upped the action in part 2, probably about 5 times as much.
This has got me excited for watching more.
Mm.
Very much so.
But again, had we watched this with the volume cranked way up there,
Yes.
you would have even got much more from it, you
Mhm.
know? Oh, I so find him.
Ah! What a way to end.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Did you enjoy it?
Loved that, George.
Good.
Absolutely loved it.
Goody.
Would definitely be a film I would revisit.
Oh, yeah, and again,
100%.
crank it up, you know,
Yeah.
turn it up. Yes, we'll do part 2 then sometime,
Absolutely.
because I think you'll enjoy it even more.
Yeah.
And it is a bit of a different movie.
Mhm.
I guess my favourite, I think, of the 3. And then part 3 we'll get to, which is
Mhm.
fun, you know. But there we go, folks. I hope you
Thanks so much.
get the chance to see Iron Angels.
I almost forgot. I actually forgot we were being filmed all the way through that.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, forgot we were because I was enjoying that so much.
Yes.
And
But
just talking about it and
yeah,
talking.
no, it is definitely one of my favourite Hong Kong movies. Not action packed as we said, but it definitely has
but
something.
it has some great
It
moments.
has it. Well, thanks
So,
very much for
thank you.
watching, and keep an eye on the channel for
Yeah.
more
Absolutely.
Cherry Pie.